Mr. Harmless here, and we're going to be looking at trapezoids and kites, the next two types of quadrilaterals. And let me get my highlighter here. Next two types of quadrilaterals. We're talking about quadrilaterals. That means they have four sides. And we're going to be talking about the trapezoid. Okay, so the trapezoid is a quadrilateral, means it has four sides with exactly, meaning only one pair of parallel sides. So there's only one pair of sides that are parallel. In the case of this example, these two sides here, those are called the bases. The midsegment or median of a trapezoid, okay, you can use either word, is the segment that connects the midpoints of the legs. So the legs are these two side pieces. If I were to connect the midpoints of these two and draw a line across, that would be called the median. Its measure, and this is going to be really important for most of the problems that we're going to do, so I want to highlight this in green. Its measure, the median, is equal to 1/2 the sum of the lengths of the bases, okay? So the lengths of the bases, half of that, if you add those two bases together, half of that would be how long that median is. If the legs are congruent, meaning have the same length, the trapezoid is called an isosceles trapezoid. In an isosceles trapezoid, both pairs of base angles are congruent and the diagonals are congruent. So the base angles would be like this angle and this angle would be congruent. So this one would be the same measurement as this one. And this angle would be the same measurement as this angle. All right, let's try some examples. Example number 1, and this is in your packet, says find the measurement of angle D. Now I know it's a trapezoid because these are parallel. That's what that means. I know it's isosceles because it says this leg is congruent to this leg. So the angles are congruent, the base angles are congruent, which means if this is 125, this would also have to be 125 right here. Now that's not the angle that we're looking for though. We're looking for D, which is down here. Well, since, I'm going to grab my highlighter again, since these lines are parallel, since this line is parallel to this line, and this line is crossing both of them, called the transversal, that means that this angle right here and this angle right here are called consecutive interior angles. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary, which means I can just take 180 minus this 125 to find this missing angle right here. 180 minus 125, it'd be, let's see here, 855, I believe. So this would be 55 degrees, if I did my math right. All right, so now that we did that one, I bet we could figure this one out. It says find the measurement of angle L. So hopefully you can figure this one out on your own. If you were trying to find the measurement of angle L, notice again we have these parallel lines. You have a transversal. What were these two angles right here called? There's a name for these two angles right here. They had a special name, right? Consecutive interior. And these angles, when they're consecutive interior and the lines are parallel, these are what? Which means that they add up to 180, right? So that means I can do 180 minus that 40 that we do have to find the other one. 180 minus 40 is 140. So that's the measurement of angle L. This next one here, it's dealing with lengths of segments, and it says that M and N are midpoints, which means that this segment right here going across is the mid segment or median of this trapezoid. Now, we put it a different way in the notes, but another way of putting this would be to say that this is the average of the top and the bottom base. To find the average of something, you can add them together and divide by 2. So since HJ is 32 in this first one, and LK is 60, we can average these to find the measurement of the one in the middle. That means we're going to take the 60 and the 32, right? And we're going to average them, which means we're going to add them together and divide by 2 since there's 2 of them. 60 plus 32 is 92. 92 divided by 2 would be 46, I believe. So the measurement of this line in the middle is 46. That's MN. All right, now that we know this, let's erase our measurements here because we're going to do the next problem. And let's see, should be the same essential setup. HJ is 18. But this time it gives us MN. And it wants us to find LK. So the setup is basically the same. Notice in this setup, we took one base and we took the other base. We added them together. We divided by 2 and it equaled the median. Right? That's what we did up here. So if I change this a little bit, we're still going to work it out the same way. One base is 18. What is the other base? Is it the X or the 28? That's the X, isn't it? Divide by 2. And this is going to be equal to the median. What's the length of the median in this second problem, number 6? That's right, it's 28. All right, so 18 plus X. All right, so now we need to do some algebra. So to get rid of this 2 in the denominator, I'm going to multiply both sides times 2. What that accomplishes on this side is that the 2's would then cancel, leaving me with just 18 plus X. On the right-hand side, 28 times 2 would be 56. Now, since we're doing our algebra, we're going to subtract 18 from both sides to get the X by itself. (56 minus 18) I think is 38. I'm trying to do math in my head. Hopefully that's right. And there we have the answer for X. All right, the next thing we're going to cover is kites, but hopefully this last part is helpful.